Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Victory Reverse Mortgage. I'm Benny Victory. Today is December 20th, and for this video, I wanted to share some information, a report that is put out by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and it has to do with the number of delinquent seniors who are behind on their mortgage payments. And the reason I feel it's imperative to understand these figures and to bring this up is that I've done a series of videos at this point, and the first group of videos had to do with the likelihood of a senior having foreclosure because of their ongoing monthly obligations when their monthly income is significantly been cut because they're no longer employed. And another set of videos that I've done where it discusses and goes into great detail the underwriting requirements for a lender to be able to give a new loan to a senior if they were to go back and say, look, my house is paid off or nearly paid off, and I have a lot of equity and I want to get a new mortgage, and I even have a great FICO score. I have an 800 FICO score. And all the criteria, the factors that the lender has to use in order to determine that decision of whether the senior is going to get a new mortgage. This report to me is very telling of the value of the reverse mortgage, because when I share these numbers with you, it should be very concerning. Because if you're a financial advisor or if you're a senior yourself, you could see that the numbers are not insignificant. And what I want to point out to is that the people that I'm going to talk to you about and the report has to do with making mortgage payments. This isn't a scenario where I'm showing you this report and giving you the numbers and saying these are people that have a reverse mortgage and are having these problems. These are people that have a traditional mortgage that requires a monthly mortgage payment and are facing these challenges. So the report, again, is by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is a federal agency. It's not some sort of a company that's is putting out this data to support getting you reverse mortgages. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is tasked with enforcing the existing consumer laws against companies or doing things that are consumer oriented to help the consumer not be duped or not get involved with fraud. And I'll link this report to this video. It's not a large report. It's only like 6 pages, so it's very easy to read. The title of the report is Data Spotlight: Older Homeowners Struggling to Make Their Monthly Mortgage Payments During the Pandemic. So it's very relevant to us where we are in December 2022. Since April 2020, the Census Bureau has tracked the number and characteristics of homeowners struggling to make their mortgage payments. So this is the Census Bureau's information, and it's relevant because it's only 2 years old. As of July 2021, an estimated 682,400, that's a significant amount, 682,400 older adults, defined as adults age 65 and older, were behind on their mortgage payments. And the reason I keep emphasizing the mortgage payments is that if you understand that the first thing that goes away and becomes optional with the reverse mortgage is the mandatory monthly mortgage that these seniors are struggling age 65 and older. And it's also important to understand that as of age 62, the senior can be eligible to get a reverse mortgage. So automatically I think of this number of 682,400 seniors age 65 and above, and I wonder how many of them could have been in a better position if they had a reverse mortgage. The numbers that are available now are pointing out to 10 trillion of housing wealth appreciation that's available for seniors to tap into to access a portion of their housing wealth. And I think to myself automatically when I read this article that these are seniors that could have potentially tapped into that housing wealth and wouldn't have been in this situation. The second part of this that I want to bring to your attention is 1 in 10 older homeowners who are behind on their mortgage payments fear foreclosure, which again is a series of videos that I've done in the playlist, and you could see that and you could see the connection that I make. In July 2021, 12.2% of older homeowners, about 83,000 older homeowners of the 682,400 who were behind on their mortgage payments reported that they will likely face foreclosure. This breaks my heart to read that an estimated 83,000 people of the already 682,400 seniors, 65 and older, are looking at the likelihood of foreclosure in their property. And what I say to myself is that this to me makes what I do and the industry and the reason the reverse mortgage exists is so significant, because how many of these seniors could have taken advantage of the reverse mortgage and immediately got rid of their monthly mortgage payment and only had to deal with the cost of their living and their expenses. And the reason I have this board behind me today is that if you watch my other videos and you're familiar with how I break it down, to me, if you don't want to be a part of this statistic, if you don't want to be one of these seniors that's dealing with this behind on your mortgage payment and possibly in the future, God forbid, facing foreclosure, you have to get involved and you have to be able to answer this simple question. It's very simple. It's not complicated. It's not going to require a lot of time. It's not going to require a lot of work. And it basically breaks down your monthly income to the husband and the wife, his Social Security, his pension, and his other source of income, maybe rental income, her Social Security, her pension, and her any other source of income. So automatically you already know how much money you're getting in monthly. Then you identify what your reserves are. How much do you have in your savings? How much do you have in your investments, your 401, your IRA, what their tax treatment is, whether if you're going to access this money, are you going to be taxed? Is it going to have an effect or an impact on your tax bracket changing? Are you going to have to make some penalties to access this money? But this is your reserves and this is your sources of monthly income. Now on this side, on the other side, you have your housing expense. And this is just housing. This doesn't even have to deal with the total, what they call a debt to income ratio or DTI, your overall expenses. This is just purely looking at your monthly, so that I want you to understand the impact that losing half of your income can mean and the effect of the drain on your savings as it requires you to make monthly mortgage payments for the length of the time that you still have a mortgage balance. So if you look at your mortgage and you break down what your monthly payment is, how much is your monthly payment including interest and principal? And if you look at your interest and you see you're paying a significant amount of interest and a minimal amount of principal in a house that you already have a tremendous amount of housing appreciation simply because you've lived in the house for 20, 30, 40 years, then is it beneficial for you to continuously pay from your savings, from your monthly income, to pay down more of this principal? I likened it to the idea that in another video that I did is that you're a farmer and you have an apple orchard and you've planted the seeds, you have the apple tree. At some point, don't you deserve to sit under the shade of the apple tree and get the benefit of the fruit? This is the benefit of your years of paying monthly mortgage payments and the housing wealth now being in a position to help you. And if the housing wealth that is yours can't be appreciated and can't be taken advantage of, then where's the benefit? So if you now know what your monthly payment is, and if you have a home equity line of credit, understanding the same conversation, how much is your monthly payment, what is your balance overall, and how long is that going to take? Then we get to the idea that you have your property taxes, and if you divide that by 12 months, your homeowner's insurance, divide that by 12 months, and a homeowner's association fee if it's applicable to you. And that has a cost to it. And then you have what I call soft costs, which are your gardener, your pool, internet, your DWP, your gas. And to give the ending away, what I say to you is that if you add up this section, which is your housing costs, and then you add up this section in the bottom, which is your property taxes and your soft costs, which everybody has to pay regardless, you can automatically and immediately see that if you took away this top part, which is your monthly mortgage, you're going to have not only a significant amount of cash flow, but you're also going to have a substantial savings in terms of not having to use your monthly reserves to supplement your expenses. I want to make this point and then bring it all to an end. And this is the saddest part of this entire thing to me. The report ends by saying some older homeowners who are behind on their mortgage payments also face frequent food insecurity and difficulty covering expenses. The survey data also showed that 20.4% of older homeowners who are behind on their mortgage payments report that they sometimes or often don't have enough food to eat during the week. The findings suggest that some older homeowners may be forced to choose between meeting their basic food needs or preserving their homes. So, if the decision is between getting a reverse mortgage and not having to deal with the financial stress and anxiety of making a mortgage payment, or in the alternative, being in a situation where the senior is first behind on their monthly mortgage payment, and then enough time goes by where they're actually in the likelihood of foreclosure, and all the while their health is affected, their ability to have dignity and financial independence, and God forbid, even their ability to pay for their food is affected. How can anybody sit there and tell me that reverse mortgages are the problem? This report, the numbers that are being cited, the fact that it's put out by a United States federal agency tasked with putting this information out, is not put out by a reverse mortgage company. And when I hear people criticize the reverse mortgage and think in their mind of the four objections that they go to, which is it costs too much, I'm going to lose my house to the bank, I'm not going to be on title, and there's going to be no equity left. This report should be like sounding an alarm in your mind, that if you're thinking of those four objections to the detriment of being in a situation where you're going to go into foreclosure, a reverse mortgage could be a hell of a lot better option. At least with a reverse mortgage, here's what I can guarantee. You're not going to lose your house because you're not making a monthly payment, because there is no mandatory monthly payment. These people that have this situation where 682,400 people are behind on their mortgage, they're not behind on a reverse mortgage. These are people behind on their mortgage obligation, and they can't make their monthly mortgage payment. They can't make it at the cost and the detriment of their health and their food. So if you're uncomfortable with the idea of the reverse mortgage because you keep clinging on to these old history of that it costs too much, I'm going to lose my house, that's why I'm making these videos. That's why if you go to my playlist, I've tried to approach the objections to getting a reverse mortgage from so many different topics, whether it's the foreclosure, whether it's your inability to be approved for a future loan, whether it has to do with the idea that people think that reverse mortgages are a scam. How can you think that reverse mortgages are a scam when it's the United States government through FHA and HUD who administers their reverse mortgage? A bank can't produce or provide a service that the federal government is going to disregard. It's in existence because of the fact that it's allowed. The fact that 64,000 seniors in the year 2022 were able to take advantage of the reverse mortgage should tell you something. These are 64,000 seniors just like you who used to have a monthly mortgage payment and came to the realization that they deserve to have access to a portion of their housing wealth. If I can help answer your questions, if these videos can guide you and put you in the right direction, if you need to get more information, there's a tremendous amount of wealth of correct information. And that's another thing that I encourage you to do, because that's another group of videos that I've done about where you get your information and to make sure it's correct. Because if you get misinformation, it's obvious why you're not moving forward. But if you get the correct information from licensed and educated people, then you're going to see what 64,000 people saw in this year by changing from a traditional mortgage, which requires monthly mortgage payments that they cannot meet, to having a reverse mortgage where their biggest concern is having to do something that you have to do already, which is pay property taxes, homeowners insurance, and an HOA if it's applicable to you. So I beg of you to take the time, the energy to do this simple exercise to find out what it means to you if you lose half your income and are not able to sustain your monthly mortgage payment going forward until it's paid off, and that could be 5 to 10 years. And the quality of life that you're going to have once you back out the monthly mortgage payment and don't have to make a mandatory monthly payment that could put you at risk of foreclosure. I appreciate you watching this video. I appreciate you being my client. I'm sorry that this has to be a little bit more of a serious video, but you know, when you read seniors are unable to make ends meet and their food is at the cost of not being able to make a monthly mortgage payment, and then 684,000 of them are in this position where they're behind and facing foreclosure. These are not easy topics to talk about, but if we don't talk about it, and if we don't see the solution, and if we don't see the bigger picture, and if we don't have the right perspective on a program that was designed to help you, then what the hell am I doing here? Where's the benefit of what I do? I know there's a value, and I know what I do makes a significant difference, but only if the person that I'm speaking to has their part of the program, which is basically, after you listen to this, do some homework on yourself and get the qualified, educated, licensed people that can help you out. All right, thank you very much. I'll see you in the video for tomorrow. God bless you, and thank you for being my client. Have a beautiful and blessed day.